This offseason, conference realignment has been at the forefront of a lot of fans' mind. Rumors have been swirling about who the Big Ten could add and when they could add them. But for the foreseeable future, stability within the Big Ten should be a priority, and stability within the 16 teams in the conference should be thought about highly going forward.
From LA to Piscataway, all Big Ten all year long. This is Big Ten 10.
Make no mistake about it, folks. The Big Ten's going to expand again. And they're going to expand again and again and again. The Big Ten is a power brand in college athletics and in today's college athletics, college football media landscape. The more you expand, the bigger you become, the bigger television product, bigger matchups eventually come to your conference and come to your airwaves within your television rights package. So the Big Ten is going to continue to expand as we go on. That is a certainty. That is a mathematical certainty that the Big Ten will expand in the future. But obviously it's about the when will it expand. I believe right now stability is so important, not only for the Big Ten, but a lot of other conferences across college football. There's been so much change from conference realignment to some of the rules, the NIL, the transfer portal stuff. We just need to kind of stand pat for a little bit and let things play out and let things kind of build up a little bit. And that's exactly where we are with the Big Ten and conference realignment. You know, you look all across the country, you got to look at your options. And right now, the Big Ten doesn't have a lot of options that really pack the punch that USC and UCLA did. And that's why I think stability, one of the reasons why I think stability is so important right now. Because you need to continue to hit home runs with these expansion candidates. You just can't add just to add, right? That's not what this is about right now. Look at the ACC. I think that's where some of the big-time Big Ten expansion targets really lie right now. Some of the reports out there confirm this, that the Miamis, the Florida States, the North Carolinas, and of course the Notre Dames are some of the bigger expansion targets for the Big Ten right now. But obviously they're locked into that grant of rights. They're locked into that contract until 2036. Yes, you could go in there. You could try to dissolve the conference. You could try to get teams. You could try to politic things to go together and get everybody to break away. But I think that's going to take a lot of work. And I don't know if that contract can be dissolved just that easily. I think it's going to take a lot of work to get to that point, to be in a situation where they could dissolve the conference. So for the right here and right now, I just don't think that is an option right now for the Big Ten, at least in the near future, right? The Notre Dame is locked into that deal as well, where if they have to join a conference, if they do join a conference, they have to join the ACC. So as tantalizing as those additions might be for Big Ten fans, it just doesn't look like it's going to happen because of the contractual situation out there in the ACC. So then you look at the teams out west, right? We just added USC and UCLA set to join the league in 2024 from the Pac-12. Now it's the Pac-10 with just the 10 members remaining over there. Nobody left in that conference really packs the punch. It's crazy how much USC and UCLA were the driving force and the driving strength of that conference right now. You take them away, and now look at the state that the Pac-12 and the Pac-10 is in right now. It's not a good state. This conference has taken multiple dips in terms of reputation, I believe in terms of prestige, and I think that affects the teams as well in this league before. Like the main candidates right now, probably your Oregons, your Washingtons, and then maybe a Stanford. They just don't pack the punch. They're not USC. They're not UCLA. They don't have the market that Los Angeles is. Yes, they might be decent teams on the field. Yes, they might have pretty good television markets. But as a whole, they're not USC. They're not UCLA. They're not Los Angeles. Right here and right now, I don't think that's a super big priority to expand into Seattle and Oregon and the Bay Area. Once again, that's why stability is more important. Stability is more important, which I will get into, than going and getting Stanford and Oregon and Washington. I've said this many times about the Ducks and the Huskies specifically. They just don't pack the punch because of what the Big Ten is bringing in from a media rights standpoint. You're bringing in $80 to $100 million per school per year towards the end of the deal, towards the back half of this Big Ten media rights contract. Why would I add Oregon? Why would I dilute the pot even more when those schools really don't add a bunch right now? Once again, stability is very important for these teams. Now, I talked about, and I'm going to talk about how stability is important to the football product. You have USC and UCLA coming into the conference. Now, USC has played Big Ten teams in a handful of Rose Bowls. They had a non-conference series. They played Nebraska non-conference games. They played Ohio State non-conference games. UCLA has played a handful of Big Ten non-conference games over the years, but they've been non-conference games. You play a team in September, an intersectional game. It's put on big-time TV. Yay, it doesn't have a lot of oomph. It doesn't have a lot of meaning like a rivalry conference game would have behind it. One of the big reasons why stability is important is to allow time for USC and UCLA to develop significant series and maybe even rivalries over the years. Rivalries, trophy games are such a big deal. It is part of the identity of Big Ten football, some of these big rivalries and big trophy games. We need to allow the opportunity to let things develop with USC and UCLA. That's what the scheduling announcement really showed me. They're not forcing anything. There are no rivalries forced. USC and UCLA, apart from each other, don't have any permanent rivals. We need to let these things happen over time. And the only way for that to happen is to just let it all play out on the field. And we need to really focus on building the significance of USC and UCLA in the Big Ten and allow them to connect and form really big games on really big television time slots against the current teams in the Big Ten. Like, what about Penn State? Penn State, right? They're going with this whole unrivaled branding. USC and Penn State are going to play each other in both 2024 and 2025. Maybe that could develop into a rivalry, because if you add your Oregons, your Washingtons, your Cals, your Stanford, now all of a sudden, half of the schedule for USC and UCLA is playing against the teams in the conference that you just tried to get away from. And I don't think anybody wants that. I don't think the Big Ten wants that. I don't think USC and UCLA wants that right now. They want to build themselves up in the Big Ten. They want to get acclimated with the Big Ten. And the only way to do that is chill a little bit out, bro, in terms of expansion, and let things really build up with stability right here in the Big Ten Conference. I think another thing stability is going to be important with is travel. We need to figure out Big Ten teams coming to LA teams going to other Big Ten cities and other Big Ten markets. Need to figure it out, right? You don't want to jump all the way into the deep end of the pool right away by having 4 or possibly 6 teams out on the West Coast, right? They're just dipping their toe into the water by seeing how things work out, and they need to figure out the logistics with USC and UCLA. And then once that is able to really come to fruition, then maybe you can add some teams a little bit later down the road. Like when Nebraska came into the conference, they were able to develop a rivalry with Iowa, right? Because Wisconsin played Minnesota in the Axe game, last game of the season. So Iowa could not play Minnesota. They played Iowa State in September. That Iowa-Nebraska game over time has really formed into a great rivalry. That Black Friday matchup is a big-time matchup that I look forward to each and every single year. That's something that you have to let develop. Even the additions of Maryland and Rutgers, they had Penn State, they had contiguous connecting states, at least near them, at least in their ish area. USC and UCLA are coming from a totally different culture. They're totally coming from a different lifestyle of college football out there on the West Coast. They need time by themselves to integrate. It mostly is about USC and UCLA allowing them time to build within the Big Ten and really build things up, because your TV, you're going to really invest into especially your new TV partners, CBS and NBC, by allowing USC and Penn State, UCLA and Wisconsin to become big time games, and not just be a game, but to become a big game and have some meaning behind it year after year after year after year. I would love to see USC and UCLA really form some rivalries, and the only way that's going to happen is if you invest in stability and let things play out in the current format of the conference that it's in with 16 teams. I want to hear what you guys think about this. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. We'll see you next time in the next video.
Thanks for watching Big Ten TED, where it's all Big Ten all year long. Make sure to like the video to spread the word of Big Ten TED to the masses, and subscribe to the channel for updates on Big Ten content that drops every day.